Hello, everyone. So today we're be talking about Mr. Don Davis in the PFL, and my prediction is that they got pretty much like maybe a year and a half left of life before they fully tank and just completely dissolve. To be honest, because I mean we got places like Octagon, Ryzen, and even Cage Warriors. There's a lot of European promotions that I think a lot of these fighters from the PFL are just gonna end up kind of fleeing to, like probably the lower end ones, and then the higher end fighters at the PFL will inevitably get signed to the UFC. Like Dakota Ditcheva, let's just give it up and let's just come to the UFC. Like, come on now. I mean, this is not a good look for the PFL out there. I believe his chairman, he's the chairman of PFL. Basically, and what he's saying in this is, from the moment I founded Professional Fighters League 8 years ago, it has been my life. My vision was to create an innovative and premium MMA company as the valuable alternative for those that want it or need it. Mm-hmm. The thing that sucked about the PFL is, like, you know, you can't exactly fault them for trying a new idea, or not a new idea, but like trying the tournament format, the old classic MMA style, but it just doesn't work with modern MMA. And like not allowing elbows was a huge thing. That was a big reason for people that kind of, you know, like the UFC allows a lot more than what the PFL is doing. They tried like these new camera angles from the ref, and some of it's pretty cool. I think the UFC has copied that a little bit too. Smart cage, all this other stuff. You'll be able to see all these cool stats on the fighters and stuff like that. People don't really pay attention to that or give that much of a shit about it. And plus the UFC shows important stats too that, like, you know, are kind of just the necessities that you need for a fight. You don't need to get, you know, super extra shit on the fights. I don't know. PFL was like, dude, their production was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Audio would go out. Terrible camera angles sometimes. You know, unfortunately, they got the arenas that they could get, and they did pretty good on some arenas. But for the most part, it sounded like Apex events when you were listening to those things. Going on with his statement here, we started with nothing, which isn't true. They took over World Series of Fighting. Accept universal skepticism. Against all odds, we succeeded. Well, I mean, you guys aren't succeeding. Now PFL is the clear number 2 MMA company worldwide and the only other premium product. Now, I'd say One Championship is number 2. I think One Championship, even though One Championship 2 is like also, you know, they're like, they got the Muay Thai is really great. Muay Thai is excellent. The MMA stuff, however, the hydration, you know, like you gotta be hydrated a certain weight or whatever and stuff like that. I don't like that shit. I just get rid of that, you know, honestly. I like how they have multiple types of fights on one card. The problem is that a lot of the fighters are just not known to Western viewers, but they do a good job at advertising. I'd say a much better job at advertising than PFL. Anyways, 0 fighters to 80 of the top 300 world-ranked fighters under exclusive contract. 0 live events, 24 per year on 4 continents. 0 so all the 0 stuff, all of the 0 followers, they took over World Series of Fighting, so it's not exactly 0. It's you shouldn't just say we took over World Series of Fighting, which was not in the best place. And World Series of Fighting, apparently they did have like a TV deal or something like that. So I mean, I would say World Series of Fighting. You had DC, you had Luke Rockhold, you had a lot of like really good guys during that time period for World Series of Fightings that was like doing really good. Today I'm stepping down as chairman of PFL. I care deeply about each employee, evaluate every high investor. I gave you greatly our fights and appreciate since you know support. I mean, I gave you everything I've got. So yeah, he cares deeply about him, and he gave him everything he's got, but he can't. Yeah, he's got to step away from this thing. PFL global footprint valuable asset market position I've never been and before achieving MMA outside the UFC. I'm confident this foundation should lead to great future success. PFL changed the great sport of MMA for better, meaningful innovations, unique global expansion, fighter empowerment, and the company is just getting started. I loved fighting to build PFL. What do you fight for? Hashtag PFL MMA. Terrible. You should have just not even put out a statement, honestly, because this is just like, especially this part right here. I mean, this part is just going to get memed so hard. Zero fighters to 80. Clear number 2 MMA company. And people are just going to like put, oh yeah, how about one championship? I bet if you look in the replies, accounts, Don Davis, PFL mentioned can reply. Yeah, he doesn't want to let people fucking reply to this because they'd get memed. Another thing to talk about, I mean, like, Jake Paul never fought in the PFL, and his PFL contract is up. And Ngannou, his contract is almost up as well. He's talking about trying to fight John Jones at the White House and shit, you know? And Dana White isn't going to entertain that, which is just, it's so stupid. I really hate the way Dana has been acting, and just, like, in general, how interested he seems to be in the UFC. I mean, sure, he got the Paramount deal, all that shit, but, like, I don't know. I just don't, like, at the press conference yesterday, he was just so, all right, let's get out. We're going to rip the shit out. We're going to get out of here. Like, did not want to take any more questions. Like, why can't we go 30 minutes is long, but why can't we go on a little bit longer? I don't know. Like, fuck. Yesterday's press conference, too, was also particularly quiet. Like, God, after all this time of waiting for a press conference, and you can get there, and it's like fucking, you know, you can hear some woos and some barking from John Silva fans. Patty hypes up the crowd a little bit. A couple of other people hype up the crowd, but, like, I don't know, just felt no energy. I looked back at some Conor McGregor fucking press conferences, and all the time it was stacked. There was probably 2 people sitting in each seat for those press conferences. I mean, shit, it was packed. But yeah, no, Jake Paul, anyways, undefeated, man. He gets out of PFL MMA undefeated. The Francis dude ended up being really bad for the PFL, I gotta admit. He ghosted some PFL Africas when they initially, like, really needed him. He's come to them now, but at the same time, like, it was just such a terrible look for him. And he's had Francis has had a lot of bad things, unfortunately, said about him, and he hasn't done the best job of defending himself, if I'm going to be completely honest. So, I mean, yeah, not good for the PFL. I mean, what would, like, the biggest thing they have next is Vadim versus Francis. That's maybe they're able to get that done, but I don't know. After that, like, I can't think of any other fights in the PFL other than Dakota Ditcheva, which she needs to jump fucking ship. As soon as her contract is up, the UFC needs to snatch her ass. Because she's just wasting her talent and her years at the PFL right now. She could be getting paid much more in the UFC. I know PFL likes to brag about fighter pay, but they're in debt, okay? They're in debt like probably $300 million, $500 million, according to the Ariel Helwani video I watched. But yeah, I just want to talk about PFL and their continued failure. I made a video like this last year as well on why PFL is going to continue to fail, but yeah, no, PFL, I give it again another year and a half, and I don't think PFL can go on much longer, unfortunately for them. I think it would be best if UFC gets all their better fighters, but, like, I hate that UFC has a monopoly on this sort of thing. Like, without the PFL, America-wise, you don't have any other competitors other than tiny regional shows, but they aren't really competitors, you know. They're more of, like, little test pools for the UFC to see which fighters they might like from there to put on Dana White's Contender Series, which is, like, low-key become bigger than the PFL, honestly, Dana White Contender Series. But anyways, that's the video there. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoy, and I am so looking forward to these fights on Saturday. And again, let me know what you guys' picks and all that stuff are. Bye.